What is going on, guys? Welcome to today's video. Today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about my own personal story with weight loss, as well as give you 10 different tips that I wish I would have known when I started trying to lose weight. So let's get started. Alright, so just a little bit of a backstory. I used to be overweight, not like obese or anything, but I was definitely carrying around a few extra pounds for a while. This goes back to, I think, when I was about, I want to say like 22. I remember I was with my sister and my aunt. We were getting lunch, and I think I said something along the lines to her as, I think I'm just going to be a fat guy for a while. What I was really saying was like, I'm just going to eat whatever I want. Like, I don't care about like being healthy. I'm just going to enjoy food. I'm going to drink whenever I want. I'm going to eat whenever I want. And it's funny that I kind of like spoke that into existence, and it really became reality. The thing is that it didn't happen all at once. It like kind of like happened over the next couple of years where I like slowly put on the weight. And I actually put it on pretty slowly, so I didn't even really realize it until I was really heavy. A little bit after that lunch that I had with my sister and my aunt, after I started to just kind of like let myself go, I ended up getting into a relationship with somebody, and I think maybe that was one of the reasons why I was kind of okay with like being out of shape. Like, I wasn't trying to like find somebody else or anything. I was already with somebody, and it didn't seem to bother her that I was a little bit fluffy, a little bit chubby, or if it did, she was really good at hiding the fact that it bothered her. Towards the end of that relationship, it got really bad, where I was just like not being healthy at all. Not only was I not eating healthy, I was also drinking way too much alcohol. I was not a happy person at the time, and I wanted to make a change. So one of the changes I wanted to make was that I wanted to lose some weight. So I started working out. I actually started boxing, and the reason I started boxing was because it was an enjoyable activity for me, and I figured that the more enjoyable the activity, that the more likely I'd be to do it every day. So that's basically what happened. I started boxing every day, and the weight started to slowly come off. And then I started to figure out how nutrition worked. So I started tracking my calories, and that really helped a lot. And then I started actually doing a lot of hiking. So that was when things like really started to change for me, because I went and had a body composition test done, and it kind of freaked me out because like I knew that I was heavy, I knew I was overweight, but I didn't realize how much body fat I was carrying. And I actually just pulled up the screenshot of this test so I could reference it, and I'll actually put it up on the screen for you guys. But at the time, and this was even after losing the initial few pounds, at the time I was clocking in at 34.1% body fat, and that was at 189 pounds. So I'd already lost a few pounds by this time, and yeah, that's heavy. So that was a big wake-up call for me, and really motivating for me to actually like, you know, start a really strict plan and like stick with it, and, you know, and just like not stop until I got the results that I wanted. If you've ever struggled with weight loss or trying to figure out like how to lose weight effectively, then you know that it's like there's so much information out there, and a lot of it's very conflicting. It can be very confusing. So basically I kind of want to just like use my story as an example, and then give you guys 10 different tips that I wish I would have known when I started, so that hopefully you can get better results quicker. So let's start with tip number 1. All right, guys, so tip number 1 is going to be to have a clear goal in mind. So this is going to make everything so much easier. If you know what the reason is, if you know what your why is, like why am I trying to get healthier? Why am I trying to lose weight? Then I promise you the whole road is going to be easier, because you can see that goal at the end of the tunnel, and it just pushes you to keep on going and going. So, I mean, it doesn't matter what your goal is, it just matters that you have one. So have a goal in mind. All right, so once you have your goal in mind, then that'll take us to what my tip number 2 is, and that is to ease into it, okay? You don't want to jump into a crash diet or try to just like starve yourself, or just start doing cardio like all day and like being crazy about it, because it's not sustainable. You're gonna do it for a couple days, and then you're just gonna get burned out. Trust me, I've done it. It doesn't work. Whether it's, you know, like going on a gnarly fast, or trying to juice cleanse for like a week, or, you know, like just like randomly going vegan. Like there's all these like things that people think they can do just to lose weight super quick. And the thing is that like none of these crash diets or fad diets work long term. They all work short term, because they're basically all fall under the same principle, which is that you're like creating a calorie deficit. Once you create that deficit, you have to be able to sustain it in order to have long-term results. So if you try to just jump into something super crazy and super rigid, I mean, maybe it'll work for some people, but in my experience, it doesn't work. You have to ease into it. So what I would say to do that'll work a lot better is to slowly drop your calories until you get to that number that you're going to stick with until the end. But don't start at that number right away, you know what I mean? So say that you're eating 2,500 calories a day and that's not enough to lose weight. Then what I would do is for the first week, maybe just drop it by 100. So go down to 2,400. The second week, go down to 2,300. And then once you kind of find that sweet spot where you're losing weight at the rate that you want to lose it at, then keep it there. And then instead of just like, jumping into like tons of cardio right away, maybe save that towards the end of your cut, diet, whatever you want to call it. Save the intense cardio for a little bit further down the line when you need that extra deficit, when you need that extra push. And that's gonna help you a lot as well. All right, so tip number 3 is going to be make sure you're losing the right weight, okay? So this is something that I definitely did not fully grasp when I first started losing weight. I was more worried about the number on the scale than my body composition. But now knowing what I know now, I wish I could have gone back and changed a few things because you definitely don't wanna lose muscle when you're losing weight, you wanna lose body fat. So a good way to make sure that you don't lose muscle is that when you're lifting, if you are lifting, try for as long as you can to keep your strength up. I mean, if you're new to the gym, you might even be able to increase the weight or increase the reps while you're dieting. But if you've been at it for a while, then that's kind of hard to do while you have your calories restricted. The best thing to do is try to keep that intensity, keep that weight while you're dieting. That way your body doesn't start to lose muscle while it loses fat. If you start losing strength, a good thing to do is just to increase your rest time. So instead of thinking, I can't lift this anymore, I'm gonna have to put the weight down. What I would do is just instead of doing that, just add a minute to your rest time. Because then it's gonna be a lot easier once you get into that next set to maintain that weight. And that'll ensure that you don't lose too much muscle. So tip number 4 has more to do with your diet, and this is something that I just recently discovered from watching videos from Greg Doucette. Shout out to Greg. You watch his videos, then he is awesome. And something that he preaches a lot is to eat low-calorie, dense foods. So basically what that means is that foods that are full of fiber, that keep you really full, but are low in calories. So examples of that would be leafy greens, like spinach, foods like popcorn, salads. Anything that's gonna really fill up your gut but not have a lot of calories is gonna be so helpful when you're dieting. Because there's other things that you can do to make a calorie deficit easier, such as intermittent fasting and stuff like that. But eating low calorie dense foods is a game changer. I'm telling you from personal experience, you're not gonna wanna eat more food if you're so full that you can't move. So definitely incorporate some low calorie dense foods. Tip number 5 is more of a mindset thing, and that is do not adapt this all or nothing mindset, okay? If you fall off the wagon, just get back on the wagon. If you mess up and you eat something you're not supposed to eat or you go over in calories, don't be okay, I messed up, I might as well just go for it. I might as well just fully send it and just eat whatever I want. Maybe I'll go out tonight and drink 12 beers. No, don't do that, okay? If you mess up, it's fine. Just continue on with the program. And another thing is you don't want to make up for it either, because that just kind of creates this yo-yo effect, and you don't want any of that either. So if you mess up, just move on and keep going, okay? I mean, this stuff works in averages anyway, so it's by the end of the week, that one extra unhealthy thing you ate or whatever, it's not gonna affect your results as much as you think, as long as you just leave it for what it is and continue on with your goals. So don't adopt an all or nothing mindset. Okay, so kind of what I was talking about earlier, you wanna find a form of cardio that you actually enjoy doing. So for me, it was boxing because I found it really therapeutic. It released a lot of endorphins for me, and I always looked forward to doing it. And then later on I found hiking, and that was another form of cardio that I really enjoyed. For you, it might be running, it might be doing HIIT, which is high intensity interval training. It doesn't matter what the cardio is that you're doing, it just matters that you do it. And if you like doing it, you're more likely to do it. So yeah, just find cardio that you actually enjoy doing, and then you'll be way more likely to implement it into your regular schedule. Tip number 7 is going to be assess your progress and make minor adjustments. So something that I used to do, and I'm kind of still guilty of this, is that if I'm not seeing results right away, then I'd make a rapid change. I think this kind of screws up your long-term results a lot, because a lot of the times the scale is not going to be the most accurate way of judging what's going on, especially if you're weighing yourself every day. There's so many factors that could be contributing to why you weigh that much. So instead of taking your day-to-day results and then basing whether or not your program's working off that, I would do a bi-weekly thing. So maybe every 2 weeks, assess your progress And then if you're not getting the progress that you want, make minor changes. Don't make huge changes. You know, be like, okay, maybe I'll drop my calories another 100, or maybe I'll do 30 more minutes of cardio, you know, and then see if that kind of like, you know, gets you over that plateau and gets you right back where you need to be, instead of completely changing your diet or completely changing your workout routine, because then like you'll never know if like your original program was working because you didn't give it enough time. Assess your progress, make minor adjustments when needed, but try to stick to your original program and goal. All right, tip number 8 is going to be to drink a shit ton of water. Like more than you think you need. Water is so beneficial because you need to be hydrated. It gives you energy, it keeps you feeling good, but not only does it do that, it also increases your metabolic rate. You're gonna burn more calories the more hydrated you are. And it also keeps your stomach full too. So a lot of the times you think you're hungry, you're actually not hungry, you just need to drink water. You know, your body is just telling you, I'm thirsty, I need H2O, but the signals get confused or whatever and you think I need to eat something. So that's another thing. If you're feeling like you need to eat, but you just ate, just drink some water. You're probably just dehydrated. So yeah, drink a lot of water, like a gallon a day if you can. And then tip number 9 is going to be to eat a lot of protein. Protein is really important in muscle protein synthesis. So basically like to build muscle, you need to eat protein. I would recommend eating like 1 gram per pound of body weight. So for me, I eat more than that just because like I feel like protein makes you fuller than carbs and fats do. And also your body burns more calories when breaking down protein than it does carbs and fats. So at a minimum, I would eat 1 gram per pound of body weight. So I'm weighing like 167 right now. So I try to hit at least 170 a day. I mean, I usually get more in just because, like I said, it keeps me fuller. But yeah, try to eat a lot of protein. It keeps you full, you burn more calories, and you'll keep / maybe build more muscle. All right, so that is gonna bring me to my 10th and final tip for this video, which is to track your calories. Now, I didn't start seeing long-lasting results until I started doing this. And the way I started doing it was I downloaded an app called MyFitnessPal, and I just started tracking my calories. So this gave me an idea of how much I needed to eat in order to lose weight. And once I found that number, then you know I would try to hit it every day. When I started doing this, I didn't really know anything about macros, so I was not tracking protein, which was another tip that I gave. And I think that I lost a lot of muscle during my first initial phase of losing weight. Track your calories, but also track protein. I wouldn't worry too much about fats and carbs. Just kind of figure out like what you enjoy eating more, like what you think is more sustainable for you, because those won't make as much of a difference unless you're doing like a keto diet or something like that. But if you're just trying to lose weight and you're just trying to eat foods that you enjoy, make sure you hit the protein numbers that you need to hit, and then carbs and fats I wouldn't worry about as much. In order to track calories accurately, there's really only 2 things that you need. One is that app. It doesn't have to be MyFitnessPal, it could be any kind of calorie tracking app. And then the second thing that you need is a food scale. So a lot of people think that they're tracking their calories accurately, you know, because they're eyeballing it and they're putting it in their phone. But I mean, they go and they start weighing it and it's completely different from what they thought. And for some foods, you know, it's not a huge deal, like vegetables and stuff, you know, they're really low in calories. So if you're off by a little bit, makes little to no difference. But then there's things like olive oil, peanut butter, that, you know, if you're even off by a little bit, like that's an extra 60, 100, 200 even calories a day, and that can make a big difference in your results. So I would say get a food scale. It's not hard to use. Get the app, get in the habit of tracking, and who knows, you know, maybe you're the kind of person who can track for a little bit and then is able to just kind of eat intuitively based on like, you know, that initial tracking period. For me, it's something that I kind of like have to do, you know, whether I'm trying to lose weight or maintain or bulk or whatever. I like to always track because I like to know what I'm putting in my body. I like to know the amounts. It just keeps me kind of accountable with what I'm eating, and it keeps me, I don't know, I just like it. But you know, it's not for everybody, but I would definitely recommend doing it initially if you're trying to lose weight. All right, guys, so to kind of wrap up here, basically when I started my fitness journey, I was about 190 pounds, almost 35% body fat, and I was able to cut down to 155, but I was still, you know, like 18%, so I wasn't able to fully see my abs. If anything, I was just really skinny. But now, knowing what I know now, I was able to add strength, I was able to add muscle, and now that I'm dieting or cutting, whatever you want to call it, I think I'm going to get a lot better results and be closer to getting that physique that I'm after. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe. And while you're down in that vicinity, you might as well give me a thumbs up, especially if you found any of this information useful. You know, leave a comment on what your fitness goals are. I would love to hear it, and I will see you in the next one.